hardly keep a straight face. I know people are going to jump on this to see what's going on. There are two people out there, two types of people. First type, love to hear about other people's misery, you know. And then you have those people that are like, oh, I got to see this, and so I can pray and just be in comfort, you know. However, I didn't specifically watch anything that was sinful, okay. Pastor Morris, you watch porn, right? I didn't watch porn, okay. But I'll tell you what I did watch that was disturbing. Well, it's kind of beautiful down there, isn't it? The ducks and everything. Okay, get on with it. We want to hear. All right. So I was watching Law and Order SVU last night. And it was one of the older shows because obviously they're suspended from doing it anymore until this whole COVID thing goes away. Or gets managed, however that works. And it was about a girl that when she was a young child, probably 7, 8 years old, was being videotaped by her stepdad. And as well as when she got a little older, he was videotaping their sex sessions and selling all this on the dark web. And the FBI chased this guy, and they could never catch up to him. I mean, he ended up dying. But the damage was already done. It was deep and rooted in this young girl's life. And she ended up, you know, her stepfather would beat her into submission and then yell at her intensely. Well, then she ended up attracting herself to those kind of men later in life. And so fast forward, she got in a little trouble, and they realized what had gone on, and they found her videos after 10 years were still being circulated through the dark web, and they had prosecuted over 6,000 people that had downloaded her video amongst many other videos. And a lot of the guys that they could catch up with to sue for restitution was past the statute of limitations according to New York law. And but they found one guy that happened to be was worth $20 million, and they told him he'd either get 30 years in jail, or 1 year probation, and 1 year house arrest, and pay restitution of $4 million. And so, and I'm really jumping ahead here. You can go and watch the episode. It's, I think, season 15. But I was thinking about that, and you're probably saying, what's the point? What are you even coming up with this? Let me tell you something. When you hear of, in your ministry, you're going to hear of people that is involved in that and think it's okay. They're not coming to you, or they're not saying it because they're having a rough time. All right, these are the people that think it's all okay. Well, let me tell you why it's not. And you probably know why. I'm going to give you a different perspective of this. This young girl had no idea these videos were out there. She's like 24 by this time. This happened 15 years before, or further back. She had no idea, and she was already messed up in the head. Okay, she was already having mental issues, and she had a child, and that didn't help. But she wanted to be a good mother, and she did everything she could. And of course, CPS was always involved in her life, and so why this is wrong is she felt that if she got that $4 million, she was being paid to do that. And that's how messed up in the mind she was. She was being paid restitution because she was going to have therapy. She was going to have to go into a facility that she could take her daughter. That was all going to cost money. And you could tell the anguish in her mind because of what people are still watching. They were still watching this. And these guys are like, well, we're not hurting nobody. Well, when you do that stuff, you condone it. So you are hurting people. And when you buy that stuff on the dark web, and I'm telling you to tell these other people, because I know anybody's probably watching this, doesn't have this issue, but this is some good stuff. This is what God gave me last night when I was watching that. When you buy that stuff on the dark web, you're encouraging people to go out and do this to more little girls and little boys. And, the Bible says that they will invent ways to sin. And this is one way that is a major sin. And we say, well, sin is sin. I get where that's coming from and where that's in the Bible, and I get the Greek and the Hebrew behind it. But let me explain something to you. There is certain sin out there, especially sexual sin, that will cause more to happen, and it'll cause other people to sin. So you're just you're causing other people to fall by the wayside when you do these things. And besides, porn really destroys a family. And Satan, he wants to destroy good godly families. And I'm going to brag a little bit. Anna and I have a great godly marriage. When something comes up, we handle it right away. We've never yelled at each other. We've never lashed out. Never. We have never done that. In fact, our daughter, Emily, she says, I want a marriage like you and Justin. And, I came into the picture when she was 13, and that could be rough on a situation like that with a teenage girl, depending on how well she has how well the relationship is with her father. And so, but she says, you guys just sit down and talk about everything, and I hear it. We go in the bedroom, walls are thin, but she'll sit and listen. And she says, I don't mean to listen in, but I can hear you, and what I hear is good. And that's a huge compliment, She goes, I want that kind of a marriage. And she goes, I don't know if I want the kind of husband Justin is. Which I don't know if that's a compliment. Maybe not the craziness, because, we have fun, okay? But she says, but I want that kind of a relationship. That's super encouraging, And that's the kind of thing that Satan wants to drive a wedge between. He's excited about marriages that have turmoil in it because it's causing children to lead that kind of life later. So he's investing in those kind of marriages. But he doesn't want a godly marriage because a godly marriage is going to continue to grow. And, the secret is, Anna tells me to do something, I do it. We get along that way. I'm just teasing. I'm totally teasing. But on a serious note, if you run across people that think that watching stuff like that, even adult porn that is legal, that stuff is more damaging than you even know. And that. I'm not going to tell you about how it tears up your heart, messes with your mind, and then it affects the family. But when you run into people like that, just let them know, hey, when you watch stuff like that, you encourage more films to be made like that and more lives to be destroyed. And so I just want to encourage you, though, that God is on the throne, and I'm giving you this so you can spread that message. And I know that people that watch this will spread that message, that that stuff is terrible. And I want to say I love each and every one of you guys, and I will get back to doing my videos on my book, okay, soon. And God's just is having me take a break from that and work on this music stuff for these people in the nursing home. Yesterday I was thinking, why am I still doing this? I know a few more people are coming around, but there's not a lot. And the Lord told me, real quick that, hey, those people need what you're doing. And as you can tell, I'm not a great singer. It takes me all week to get the tone in my voice to be manageable. And I'm not a great guitar player, but I'm just going out there and giving what talent I do have to them. And hopefully God, makes it better. But I'm telling you what, if anything, if you can watch me and say, man, if that guy can do it, I can. Hey, that's encouraging. That means that you're going to go out there and do it. And I think maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I don't pay attention to anybody's negative comments. I just do what the Lord tells me to do. And if people are being negative, hey, it means I'm doing the right thing. Unless you bring it on yourself and you go and post stuff that's terrible. We have a lady in our church that just, she does that stuff. And then you see her in church and she's a different person. But, but that's not to say that I think she really believes that the things she's posting. She's not posting cuss words and things like that. She doesn't do that. She's just has some very strong views. And it's not about abortion or anything that's sinful, but she has some very strong views that get some people riled up. And I would just say, so, I'll just leave you with this. Petra, Google this song. It's good. It's a fun song too. Seen and not heard. There's a verse in there. Sometimes God's children need to be seen and not heard. God bless, and I hope you enjoy your coffee. Pastor James having some cinnamon in his coffee. Misty having a cinnamon stick in her coffee. And enjoy. God bless and love y'all.